All right, so you've got a spare room in your house and you're thinking, why not throw it up on Airbnb and make a little extra cash? I've done it, and I'll tell you right now, there is a lot more to it than snapping a few photos and waiting for the money to roll in. If you're going to list a room in your own home, you need to know what you're signing up for. So let's get into it. Renting out a room in your main home is not the same as listing an empty apartment. You're not handing over keys and walking away. You're sharing your space, your kitchen, your bathroom, your fridge. It is a weird mix of being a landlord, a roommate, and a part-time concierge. I remember the first guest I ever had. I thought I would barely notice them. Wrong. They used my French press wrong, and I didn't even know I cared about that until it happened. So just be real with yourself. You're giving up some privacy. There is going to be awkward small talk sometimes. You need to be okay with someone else brushing their teeth in the bathroom you also use. And before you even think about posting that listing, check your local short-term rental laws. I know it's boring, but this stuff will bite you later if you skip it. Some cities need you to register, get a permit, or even take a safety course. Other might straight up not allow it. A quick call to your city or county office can save you a ton of trouble. Better than getting a fine in the mail or having to shut your listing down after one guest. And let's talk insurance. Here is a mistake I almost made. Thinking my regular homeowner's insurance had me covered. It doesn't. At least not once you start renting part of your house to strangers. Now, Airbnb does have something called air cover. It's built in and it offers some level of protection, but read the fine print. It doesn't cover everything. I ended up getting a short-term rental policy added onto my existing coverage. Cost me a little more each month, but it covered stuff like guest injuries, stolen items, damage beyond normal wear and tear, all the things that keep you up at night after a guest leaves. Peace of mind is worth it, trust me. All right, now that you've handled the boring stuff, let's talk about the room itself. You can't just clear off the bed and call it ready. Guests notice everything. Dust on the baseboards, weird smell, broken lamp switches, all of it. First thing I did, I walked into the room like I was the guest. Sat on the bed, looked around, opened drawers, tried the light switch. I even flushed the toilet in the shared bathroom. You would be surprised what little things pop up. Also, lock away anything personal. I'm talking about your documents, your expensive headphones, or your grandma's quilt. Not because you don't trust people, but because it is just smart to do all these things. And the finishing touches matter as well. Fresh towels, a trash can, an outlet near the bed, maybe a bottle of water or two. Doesn't have to be fancy, just has to say, I thought about it. And this is a big one. Don't oversell the room. Don't make it look like a boutique hotel if it is just your spare room with a futon. People will forgive a lot if you're upfront. But if you leave stuff out or try to gloss over quirks, that's how you get bad reviews. I used to have a guest room right next to the washer and dryer. I wrote it in the listing. You will hear the laundry running a few times a week. And one guest actually thanked me for the heads up. Said it helped them decide to bring earplugs along. Same thing goes for pets. Got a dog? Say it. Got a shared bathroom? Definitely say it. The more honest you are, the better the stay for them and for you. Now let's talk house rules. The rules aren't about being strict, they are about keeping things smooth. When I started, I had this huge list of rules. Nobody read it. Now I keep it simple. No outside guests, quiet hours after 10, no shoes in the house. That's it. But here is the trick. Explain them. I tell people the shoe rule isn't just tradition. It's because I've got light carpets and I hate scrubbing out boot marks. That little explanation goes a long way. Think about the stuff that would ruin your day if a guest did it and put it in your rules. Not just what sounds nice, what actually matters in your daily life. And then comes pricing. Everyone's first move is to look up a similar listing nearby and just match the price. Don't do that. That host might have 10 reviews or a private bathroom or a queen bed instead of a twin. You're not comparing apples to apples. Plus, they might be pricing wrong too. What I did in the beginning was simple. I started low, just enough to get a few bookings and build up reviews. Once I had 5 stars across the board, I started inching the price up and guests didn't blink. Also, pay around the dynamic pricing tool. Some of them are free or super cheap. They help you stay competitive without guessing. I will leave a link to the dynamic pricing tool I use. But at the end of the day, think like a traveler. Would I pay this much to stay here? In this room with a stranger in the next room? That mindset helps a lot. And then comes communication. I can't stress this enough. How you talk to your guests matter more than your bed sheets, your Wi-Fi speed, your fancy soap. Seriously. The first message you send, it sets the tone. Be warm, be clear, and lay down expectations in a normal human way. I always say something like, hey, I'm around during the evenings if you need anything, but I give folks their space. And always respond fast. Doesn't have to be instant, but don't go ghost. A guest waiting 4 hours for a key code is already annoyed before they even get there. Also, trust your gut. If someone is messaging feels off, too pushy, too vague, too many weird questions, it is okay to decline. I've said no to bookings that didn't feel right, and I never regretted it. Now, hosting while living there. This is where things get real. Living with guests isn't hard, but it definitely changes your vibe at home. You start tiptoeing a bit more, you think twice before blasting music, and yeah, sometimes you eat dinner standing in the kitchen instead of lounging in the living room. There was a week where I binge watched a show using my headphones, just so I wouldn't disturb a guest who liked going to bed early. Totally not a big deal, but it is something you don't think about until it is happening. You also start notice your own habits, like, wow, I do leave my socks everywhere, or okay, maybe I do turn the blender too early in the morning. And the key is to make peace with the idea that your house isn't 100% yours while someone is staying. It is temporary and it is worth it, but it is real. Now for reviews, you might think if I'm just renting a room, reviews won't matter much. They do. People scroll straight to the review section. They want to know if you're clean, if the room looks like the photos, if you're a weirdo. One bad review, just one, can tank your booking rate for weeks. But here is the thing, don't beg for reviews. Don't make it weird. What I do is simple. I send a quick thank you message after checkout, something like, hope the stay went well and thanks again for being a great guest. If you've got a minute, leave a review. I would appreciate it. And most people will. And if you're consistent, clean space, good communication, no surprises, you will get 5-star reviews without having to do cartwheels. Okay, so renting out a room in your main home, it can be a great side hustle or it can be a total headache, depending on how you set it up from day one. I'll be honest, it is not for everyone. You've got to be okay with sharing your space, setting boundaries, handling the little weird things that pop up when strangers sleep under your roof. But if you do it right, it is solid money. And sometimes you even meet people you actually like. If you're thinking about doing it, I would love to know what's holding you back, or if you're already doing it. What is one rule or your tip you swear by? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. All right, that's it for this one. Catch you in the next.